Remember that? The A Team? Hey, Inspired Tribe, how's it going? Welcome,
Inspired Tribe,
welcome.
how's it going? Welcome.
Wait,
Inspired
I'm
Tribe, how's
actually
it going?
hearing myself.
Welcome. Wait,
Here we go.
What's going on?
Oh, it was just a double echo. Welcome to the Inspired live stream here on the Inspired channel. I am John Nolan. This is my wonderful wife, Christine Nolan, the wise voice from behind the camera. And we're excited that you're here with us on this beautiful Monday, August 16th, 2021, WON and Inspired Tribe. You know how this works. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. This is what we do. This is the mantra of the Inspired live stream as we are approaching another milestone in the live streams, which is 200 live streams, I think next week. And also approaching another milestone on the channel with 200,000 subscribers sometime today, we assume, early tomorrow. At the rate that we're growing. And we just wanted to thank you all for being here with us. We had a beautiful conversation earlier today with a new partner. We're going to announce that soon. Powerful, cool new partnership. We're going to talk about it. But as we told them, this was never meant to be a business. This was never meant to be even a big project. We just started the Inspired channel to truly inspire people. It was God-given. After meditation, I came out, I had the inspiration, started the channel, and it just developed from there. And so we love having you here. Thank you, existing tribe, new tribe members. As you know, as soon as you tune in, as soon as you are here, you just become part of the beautiful Inspired Tribe. And I wanted to welcome everyone who's tuned in today here that I see in a live chat. I saw Gary. Welcome, Gary. I see Sarah. Welcome. Great to see you today. I have to tell you, my eyes, my blurry vision today. Who else is here? Steve. I see Steve here. Elaine here. Welcome. Stardust Diamond. Beautiful to see you. Stefan, I don't know. Illy is tuning in from Dallas on the way to Franklin, Tennessee. Kelsey, welcome. Jantango. Hantango. Oh man, I'm butchering this. I'm 100% sure. I'm sorry. Emma, hi. Agnieszka, how's it going? Beautiful tribe members here today. Wonderful to see you all. Carol, I wanted to thank Olga. Olga has been contributing in the super chat here. Olga tunes in from California. Thank you so much for your contributions. We really appreciate it. And everyone who's sending contributions any which way, thank you so much for helping us continue our work here.
Sending PayPal.
Some are sending PayPal contributions anonymously. You know, nobody knows about it, but we know, and we so appreciate this. And it goes back into the work. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Cecilia is here. Corey is here. Bernadette is here. Heather, Sharon, Maria, welcome everyone. Michelle, Gina, beautiful to see you all. Calbo, Marina, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive into today's topic, which is something that we get asked about so much. And I want to say that the reason why we're talking so much about this is because there's one thing that we really observe and hear, and it gets brought to our attention. This spiritual awakening or awakening, whatever you want to call it, it's just a term that tries to describe what's going on. It's really intense business, people. It's really an intense journey, and as beautiful as so many of the things are, there's also very challenging things. And we understand that people are sometimes feeling very lonely, and they don't know if they're the only ones experiencing these things, or if they're just weird what's happening, because everyone's always just talking about the beautiful spiritual awakening. I'm awakening to God. I'm awakening to the universe. Everything is so awesome. But there are things in this journey that are challenging. And we get these questions a lot of times. You know, I feel this. I feel this. I don't have any joy in the things I used to. And so we wanted to talk about some of the things that we all lose during our awakening, something that we derive, from our personal journey, things that we truly lost, and things that we just observe others lose, and what this means. Why is this happening? And the basic explanation, to break it down to the most simple level, is that you are waking up to who you are authentically. And that is unique. That's a unique expression of this universal consciousness. And who you are authentically, once you figure that out, once you step into that power, energy, vibration a little more, a lot of the things that you used to enjoy and do and spend your time with just don't work anymore. And so we put down 10 things that we lost, and we know a lot of people lost during this awakening journey. And while it's happening, it might seem like a loss, but after the fact, it's just one more layer that you peeled, that you let go, kind of like we peel the onion here. So let's dive into it. One of the first things is that you really lose, and that's kind of a vague thing. It's a little different for everyone. Is you lose you lose this attachment to the definition of what your outer reality is. What does that mean? It means that we're in a world that where the outer reality is very clear defined what it is in this 3D world, and now of course we have virtual reality tuning in, but norms, all those things are very clear defined, and we see this, we grow up with this, we get taught these things. And one of the first things you lose is the attachment to the definitions. You go out and there, you go, well, things are really very different than what I thought they were, and from what they seemed. And so this is the first thing you lose, is this outer security. I can count that reality is what I've been told it is. That's one of the first things you lose. And that's also one of the scariest things to lose in the beginning, because you go, wait, nothing is the way I thought it was. Everything's different. And so that is like this ultimate big, thick layer of filter that's just kind of being, ripped apart. And it can be brutal. It can be very, very disturbing. And so that's one of the first things that happens that kind of leads down the path for all the other things that we're listing here today. And just so you know, this can vary in intensity. And for some, this step is kind of like fluent and go, yeah, it feels so good to finally go to a more authentic, real way. But for others, it's like, oh my God, I've believed in these things. I've believed in this system. I've believed in this, and it isn't what I was told it is. And then let's go into the things that come with this. A very big thing for a lot of people, I'll tell you, in my family. My mom worked as a journalist, TV presenter. She was in journalism and media all her life, and that was a very, very strong grip on our family. Is that my mom would always watch the news. She would report, of course, herself as a journalist. She would write. And so this world was very big in our family. The news were on. We had a bunch of newspapers that we subscribed to. And so this was something that our family was very much involved in. And one of the things that happens during this awakening process is that slowly, and sometimes not so slowly, you completely begin to ignore and stop consuming the news, the media, cable news, newspapers. All this, it begins to feel fake. It begins to feel artificial. It begins to feel manipulative. It begins to feel like it sucks your soul out. It's a very low vibrational thing, and we shouldn't even call it news, because it has nothing to do with news. It has something to do with manipulation of information, indoctrination. It's a very different thing. Like we said in the first point, and that's one of the first things that people begin to realize is, I'm feeling this authentic feeling inside of me now. Turn on the news, and all this fear, all this aggression, loudness, it just doesn't resonate anymore. So one of the first things people lose on this journey is their attachment to the news. And come to think of it, they free up a lot of their day, because most people wake up, turn on the TV, or turn on, it used to be the radio, and now it's mainly TV. Then they drive somewhere, the radio's on with the news. Then TVs are all over the bars and restaurants. So you basically can't escape that. But once you do turn it off, and once you do lose this, you free up a lot of time. And so we've seen this in the awakening journey. no one consumes news on a daily basis anymore, or even regularly. And then the question is, and that's what people always asking, but how do I know what's going on? And that's a kind of a twofold question. First of all, what do you need to know what's going on? I mean, we're so attached to the idea that we need to know what is happening somewhere 10,000 miles away, accidents or bad stuff. But for the most part, we really don't need to know. And secondly, we believe that all information that is important to you, that you need to know, finds its way to you. There's so many wonderful new ways now, and there are alternative media news sources, smaller news outlets that have a very different outlook on things and that provide these kind of things. And these are usually people that are experiencing at least parts of that spiritual awakening too. So you kind of feel a similar vibration. Now, going down the list, number 3, and this is a biggie for a lot of people. This is actually some of the main messages and emails and questions that we get asked is, people feel that they want to spend less and less time with friends, acquaintances, even family members. Actually, they're slowly but surely, they're really bringing down the number of people that they interact with. And at first, this seems like a negative, bad thing. It's like, oh my God, I'm becoming a hermit here. I'm socially isolating. But you have to trust your intuition on this. And basically, what we always say is, tune in with yourself. If you're used to going out all the time with people, having coffee, meeting with friends every day, but you just don't feel like it anymore. And it isn't a one-off. It's like every time it's like, I need to drag myself there. I need to make myself go there. Listen to your intuition. There's a reason why this is happening. Bringing down these social interactions, bringing or decreasing the number of people you spend time with is a very common theme for everyone who's experiencing this. And there's a number of reasons, but one is that silence and being alone and being more in tune becomes very much more important. The other thing is that we simply don't want to sit around and gossip and talk about things that are, maybe talk about other people or maybe just, regurgitate the same topics that we have been. And that's what happens so many times amongst friends is they meet up and they talk about the same stuff, old memories, remember back then, and all these things. And it just doesn't feel authentic anymore. And so this is one of the things that people lose. And we'd love to tell you, or, we could tell you, well, every friend that you lose is going to be replaced. And that's just not how it is. As a matter of fact, it just becomes so that as your unconditional love for all of your fellow humans grows, your interest in spending a lot of time with a lot of people decreases. So you really become more, picky and you choose wisely who you spend time with, who you interact with. And so that's one of the main things that happens, even with family members. I mean, we're brought up with this sense of responsibility. We need to check in with everyone. We need to constantly call Aunt Vicky, who we really never really see, but it's just a thing that we do. And not that that's a bad thing. And we love family and we love the family connection, but you also just feel more clearly where you want to reach out and where you just want to disconnect. And so that decreases. It's another thing that we lose on this awakening journey. Number 4, and this is also a big theme. These are all kind of big themes, of course. In our culture, very big. One thing that happens to people that are in the spiritual awakening sooner or later is once you see through what entertainment, what movies are, what TV shows are, how much programming there is, what Hollywood is, what it really stands for, what really is behind the movie industry, the indoctrination, the dark side of it. You just can't watch a lot of the stuff anymore. You're becoming aware, you're becoming awake to these things. And so you basically try to recreate an old memory, like in childhood times, get together with friends, make popcorn, sit on a couch, watch a great movie. And even the movies that you used to love just aren't, you just can't watch it anymore. There's too much that you see, too much that you sense, too much that you feel. And so you lose a lot of this, and this has been such a journey for Christine and I, because we really haven't kept up with Hollywood and what they're doing for many years. I mean, in terms of watching new movies, we've really looked behind the scenes on what Hollywood is about, but we don't watch current movies at all anymore. But we've experienced this even with our old classic favorites, that we go back and we can't watch it anymore. We see the programming, then we know stuff about the actors that are in it, and it's just stuff about the director, stuff about, it just, you just can't anymore. So this is something that goes away. It isn't that we don't watch anything anymore. There's wonderful alternatives. There's great new movie makers that come out. There's great documentaries. But really, we have decreased our time in front of movies and TV shows a lot, and this has been going back years now. But that's something that you lose along the journey, and it's kind of a nostalgic thing too for a lot of people. It's like, oh my God, I mean, this used to be such a beautiful ritual with my family, watching the new Disney movie. Now all I can think of is how they're subliminally projecting the message of sex and drugs and whatnot. So that's just a thing that we go through during the spiritual awakening. It just happens. Number 5, also a biggie, is you begin first to question a lot of social norms, rituals, conformities, and then you begin to detach from those norms that don't make sense to you anymore. And these are very different for many different people. But just think about all the rituals that we have in society, conformities, what we celebrate, what we cherish, and how we do this as a society. And I'm not saying that it's all bad, but I'm also not saying that it's all good. And this is one of the things that we lose, is our willingness to participate in certain things that are just social norm, conformity, certain celebrations, holidays even, when we begin to question what the meaning of that holiday is. For example, one thing that Christine and I and our family loves is Christmas. And, if you really go deep enough, and if you really study deep enough, I mean, Jesus wasn't born neither on December 24th or 25th. Going into historic research, it's much more likely he was born sometime in the spring. But aside of that, it's a very commercialized holiday. And we have slowly but surely peeled and thrown away all the stuff that we don't like. We don't participate in all the big commercial fuzz and buzz about it. But we love the spirit. We love the spirit of love. We love making it more quiet, actually, instead of making it louder. But we have, in a lot of ways, through a lot of social norms and rituals, lost a lot of those celebrations simply because we asked ourselves, what are we celebrating? Just another opportunity to eat more food, not feel guilty about it? Or just, another excuse back in the day, that's a long time ago now, to drink? And it just becomes so that you lose a lot of these things on the outside too. Social norms, holiday celebrations, where you can't find the meaning and the sense in it. And as much as we're talking about things that you lose during this journey, think of it in a lot of ways as a big gain also. The gain is in time. The gain is in authenticity. The gain is in really present tuning in with what is in tune. What am I in tune with? Number 6, we just touched on this. Food. 99% of the people that are on this spiritual awakening journey cannot, over longer periods of time, consume the same foods anymore, that they did before. And there's a very, very logical reason. As you awaken, your vibration rises, your energy level, everything is on a much more fine-tuned level. Most of the foods that are available to us aren't really foods. This is processed artificial fillers. And so you just, even if you had this favorite burger joint that you used to love to go to, was really greasy, and you just told everyone how this was your favorite burger joint, after a while, this memory thing wears off, and you just don't feel good. You can feel that it doesn't serve you, doesn't serve your body. A lot of people, including us over the years, I mean, it's been 10, 12 years now, quit eating meat, look for more raw, more living foods, something that is fresh, something that is readily available. More people grow foods. So nutrition becomes a very big thing, because you want to put in your body something that resembles how you feel on the inside. You want this to be a harmonious journey. And so with these changes, but you also lose some of the social conformities. Go to a ball game and try to find something that's healthy or fresh. There's hot dogs, there's burgers. And so a lot of those things come with this awakening journey. I'm telling you, it's serious business. And it's a lot of goodbyes that we have to not have to say, but they just happen. These goodbyes happen. If we really tune in, we see this doesn't feel good anymore. Consuming a lot of sugar, consuming a lot of processed foods, of course, consuming meat, all these things begin to feel not right anymore. I'm not saying that's the same for everyone. I can just see this. I'm telling you, this is an observation and a personal experience that a lot of foods we lose. And I remember there used to be this comfort and there used to be this excitement about some really good ice cream that I'd pick up in the store and I put in the freezer and just get excited about eating it and the flavors and the chocolate and everything. And then I take it out and eat it, and I just don't really have it anymore. It just doesn't really resonate anymore with me. And that's one of the things that happens on this journey, is that we lose the appetite for so many quote unquote foods, which are not really foods. Number 7, totally tied to this, of course, is alcohol and drugs. And drugs is, of course, a big topic, but just alcohol being a socially accepted drug, we see this. It's in many people, the consumption decreases. A lot of people quit completely, and it isn't because it had been a problem before, it had been an addiction before. It simply does not resonate with how they're vibrating anymore. Alcohol is especially spirits, is a very high, very low vibrational substance. And so when you are high vibing, when you are meditating every day, when you're very open, your chakras are open, your energy centers are open, energy's flowing, everything's working well, you put alcohol in your system, it just totally clashes. It doesn't really work so well anymore. And that's one thing that's been, I don't know, 15 years now for us. 14, 15 years. And we used to be recreational drinkers, have a glass of wine, have a beer every now and then, go out, stuff like that. But it just did not feel right anymore. And this is another thing that you lose. And with that, alcohol is a very social substance. With that comes the whole going out and partying thing, which is number 8 on our list, which is totally tied to alcohol. Because if you don't drink anymore, slowly but surely you lose your appetite for going out to clubs and dancing. Not dancing and not at all, but going out and doing this drinking, partying thing. When you realize that if you don't consume alcohol, the thing becomes really silly really quick. And you just don't feel like being out in loud places, doing the festival thing. This used to be a thing we loved to do, is going out to, and I'm an artist and songwriter, mind you, going out to concerts and festivals where there was loud music and it just isn't the same anymore. We still enjoy some of these things, but it's usually when they are created for a different purpose and from a different spirit. Whereas just going out to loud events where there's loud music, where there's a lot of drinking, where there's a big crowd and there's a very low vibration going on, we just don't do these things anymore. And there was another big goodbye for us, because a lot of this is always tied to socializing, meeting with other people. What are we going to do Friday night? You want to go to this club, you want to go to this bar, you want to go to this concert, you want to go to this festival. And it's just something that a lot of us don't feel like doing it anymore. Our time becomes just more cherished. We cherish our time more, we cherish our awareness more, what we put our attention to. And so all these things on the list, we said goodbye to ourselves or have changed dramatically. Number 9 is something that also I used to love back in the day reading a good novel. Um, I really enjoyed John Grisham legal novels and stuff like that. And Christine would enjoy reading novels. And there, don't get me wrong, there are good novels out there, but this consumption of fiction literature and novel literature is something that also falls away for a lot of people, because once you are deprogrammed, or you're in the process of deprogramming from the matrix out there, you can see the programming and everything so clearly. And so you just don't want to go through 500 pages of programmed literature. And this is something, all the mass consumption devices, whether that's electronics or books or TV or whatever, just becomes something you become very consciously about. A lot of stuff you let go, you completely let go. And books, we love reading books, but it's mainly nonfiction that we read very carefully. It's actually like a feeling thing, feeling your way, holding a book, seeing how the words sit with you in the first few pages. All of these things, a lot of these things we lose on this journey. And the reason why we brought this topic up today, and the best thing on this list comes last, is because we're hearing so much about this. So many people are asking us, am I going crazy? Am I, is this going to change? Am I going to ever go back to the way it was? I just want things to be the way they were before. I want to enjoy the same things I used to. And the answer is no. You're never going to go back to the way you used to be. The question is, are you allowing yourself to go through this transformation, which is really just your inner authenticity, seeking authenticity in the world as well? And there are many authentic people out there. There's authentic music, there's authentic books, there's authentic movies, there's authentic food, there's authentic celebrations and holidays. All of these things are out there. But we're beginning to recreate these things or create something new from scratch in a lot of ways. And that can be painful. The letting go part can be painful, especially if you're the only one in your family or your circle of friends, and you basically say goodbye to so many things and step into the unknown, because this isn't like for everything you lose, there's a replacement right away. Not at all. It's something that comes gradually and you feel your way through it. And you basically, to the outside world, feels like you're becoming someone completely new, different. It's weird because you're supposed to stay the way you are to the outside world. They want you to, for their own comfort, they want you to be who you always were. And so when you go through this process, you become, and I don't want to say someone different, you become who you were actually meant to be, who you really are. You just weren't awake to that, or you just weren't aware, or you were pushing it down, or you were trying to ignore it because it wasn't socially accepted. And so those are the things that we lose along the journey. There's many more. This is just some of the broader topics and some things that we have discussed with our junior coaches, that we've discussed with our course participants. That's one of the things they'll say so often. I used to love this. Now I don't want to do it at all anymore. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're just listening closer. You're just tuning in more. You're just more in tune with yourself. And so number 10 on this list of the things that you lose while you're awakening, spiritually awakening, the most beautiful thing of them all is fear. That's one thing that slowly but surely goes away from you, is fear. And fear of what? Well, there's really one ultimate fear that we're programmed with at one point in time, and that's the fear of death. And all other fears are kind of a different expression of that fear. And one of the things that we always say when someone is really anxious and fearful about a topic, worries about something a lot, it's what's the worst thing that could happen? Really confront the truth. What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing in any situation in our human perception that could happen is that we die. So we lose this physical body. So what? Do you think that spirit that wakes me up every day, the spirit that perceives so much beyond these physical senses, do you really think that is tied to this human body at all? It's been around for eons. It's going to be around for eons. This experience happened in this body. I'm enjoying it. I love life. and I'll enjoy it till my, last day in this physical experience, but I have no fear of death. And that's one of the things, one of the most beautiful things to lose during your awakening is the fear. And of course, ultimately the fear of death. And that's such a blessing. If you go through these things that we just talked about, you realize so much decluttering happens, so much space opens up for new things, new experiences, new ideas. And you don't have to fill it up right away. It's okay to have more time on your hands, maybe to think a little more, maybe to be a little more time, spend a little more time in silence, or, you know, the few people that remain in your life, really important people, spend more time with them. It's also a beautiful thing. Check in with someone you love, and usually don't check in. So this losing business is really a gaining business. But if we don't put it in perspective every now and then, it appears that our whole life is falling apart. And that's actually the case. Our whole life, when we're awakening, is falling apart. The life that we used to have. Our old world dies and a new world is being born. And that's, as beautiful as it is, every change, every transformation is very uncomfortable, because old habits have a way of coming back, and have a way of, your body memory, all of that has a way of wanting what it always had. And so this whole changing transformation business can be tricky. And so one of the reasons for us creating the Inspired Tribe chat on Telegram was because so many of you are scattered across the planet in different countries, on different continents. Some of you feel very alone in this journey. And we wanted you guys to see that, A, you're not alone, and B, you can connect and talk, even beyond the chat, of course. That's just a gateway. Exchange emails, numbers, have a Skype or Zoom call, meet in person when you get the chance, just so you see that this is an experience that we all have intimately, personally, but it's happening collectively. It's such a beautiful thing. Think about it. I want to say that millions and millions and millions of people in just the past year have withdrawn their energy and attention from media, from TV, movies, from that whole apparatus. Which, what does that mean? When you withdraw your attention, you withdraw your energy, you also withdraw what finances it. Because if you don't watch it anymore, if you don't buy it, if you don't subscribe to it, well, that's a revenue stream that's drying up. So there's so much that's happening. And in this losing of these things, we're gaining. We're really, really gaining. And in one of the following live streams, we'll talk about all the things that we gain along this journey, all of the things that come to us, that have come to us. We've talked about this before, but we want you to know that we hear you. We read your messages, we read your emails. We hear what is important to you now. And as we are in this transformational time, it's so wonderful to have the opportunity to uplift each other, to say, man, I've experienced the same thing just yesterday. What a weird synchronicity. How beautiful. This is happening for millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the planet today. And sometimes hearing that others are feeling the same things does help us. It's not to kind of, linger in any kind of pain, but it helps us to see that this awakening stuff is so big and it spans across continents and countries. So yeah, I think a lot of you can relate. I'm looking forward to going through the comments here. Did I miss something important?
There are so many comments, I could not even read all of them.
That's what I'm going to do right after the live stream here. We're going to go into it. I'm going to read all your comments as I always do. I want to say how much I appreciate you guys. And if you have something that is very intense in your experience, a question, something you'd like to know more about, a topic that's really interesting, send us a message or an email, and we'll put it on the list, and we just might talk about it in one of the upcoming live streams. As we always say, for all the new Tribesters, Christina and I never sit down and go through a list of topics that we're going to talk about in the next month in the live streams. There's not a blueprint. We go on walks, we tune in with what the energy is, we feel you guys, and naturally topics come to us, and then we talk about it. That's how this journey works. It's very much a co-creation. We've said this from the beginning. It's all of you and us that create this together. Also, wanted to let you know that it's coming closer. We're actually really close to the Yado retreat, which is September 30th to October 3rd, where we're all going to meet in Florida, Cape San Blas, Florida, a beautiful place to create a big energy shift. We're so looking forward to this. It's going to be the first in-person retreat here in North America. And the list of participants is almost, I want to say almost full. We're almost there. A few spots left. And if you feel inspired to come down, spend a couple days with us, and go on a journey that's beyond your daily rituals, beyond what you used to do, and create a real energy shift. As we always say, we can't change your life in 3 days, but we can create the energy shift that helps you change your life in 3 days. And that's what we're going to do down at the Yado retreat. If you feel inspired to join us or to learn more, if that's something that speaks to you, check out the link that's on the top of the live chat. You'll find out more, and you can book your seat as well. It's a beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful place on the Forgotten Coast in Florida, and we'd love to see you guys there. And I think, that was it from us for today. Beautiful journey. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. And we'll be here again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the Inspire channel. And I also want to say that within the next week or so, we have another really cool big announcement to make. So come back, tune in, something that we're really excited about, a new partnership, a new thing going forward. So Tribe, stay tuned. It's only going to get better and better and better. We love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the Inspire channel.